Peace, everybody. How's everybody doing? I'm going to give some time for everybody to come to chat, and then we will go from there. Y'all subscribe. Make sure y'all like, share, comment, and subscribe. Make sure y'all sign up to the website. I'm gonna start at about the 2 minute, 2.5 minute mark. So I'm gonna let y'all go get y'all what y'all need to go get. We're gonna get into this. I feel like we've talked about it, but not enough. So once you hit the 2 minute, 2 minute 30 second mark, that's when we'll start to, set the tone for everything. All right, fam, we have approached the 2 minute and 30 second mark. So, as you see in the thumbnail, today's video is called What's Your Solution? And I felt that this topic was we need to have a specific broadcast dedicated to this. We've talked about it before. We have mentioned before what's the end game, but we haven't really went in depth about it or really had a live stream about it. So this live stream is going to be dedicated to that. What's your solution? And to define what I mean by, or who I mean by what's your solution, I'm defining your solutions as the militant integrationist, Black Power American, you can call them the Aborigines, people who advocate for Black talking heads, anybody who advocates for Black people to stay in America, but do not want to address the solutions nor lay a blueprint out. That's what I'm defining by your. So when I say what's your solution, I'm defining specifically the militant integrationists, the Black Power American, the Aborigines, and Black talking heads, etc. You could say, and others who are advocating Black self determination in America but don't provide the necessary solutions, blueprint, and logistics. So that's what I mean by what's your solution, by your. And the reason why I came up with this idea is because I've been seeing we've seen it numerous times, but I've been seeing it as of lately, story after story after story after story after story about Brother Polite, Michael Noah, who else? African Bambata, police officers doing this with people, Black people. What else? Some Karens running wild. We've heard this over and over and over again, and my response has always been, "What's your solution?" Okay, let me address this question. So he says, "Hi Jabari, I want to ask you, what are your thoughts on globalization? A lot of Black people I feel like have a problem. I don't have a problem with globalization. globalization is the matter of the world. The world is a globalized world. We're in a globalized economy. Everything is globalized. There are global supply chains, global trade routes. Everything is global. And now you just have to fit in to the global economy. Find your comparative advantage or your competitive advantage, and then you use it. If you have a plethora of copper, find a way to manufacture copper products, copper manufacturing, and you sell them. That's what you need to focus on. Don't sit here and complain about globalization, because the reality of it is the world is a globalized economy, and you need to trade with other people, and you need to get goods from foreign countries. So my personal opinion is no, I don't have a problem with it. I actively encourage it, and I think Black people should engage more with the global economy. They need to engage more in global politics and global organizations. And thank you, Fly Guy. How do you think Africa can benefit from globalization? One of the major ways that Africa can benefit from globalization is, once again, competitive and comparative advantages, which can be defined as what a country has an advantage over compared to its other competitors. So an example would be Africa has a young population. Africa has a plethora of natural resources, and we can benefit from that by, of course, utilizing the African Continental Free Trade Agreement, connecting with global organizations of like mind. There are plenty of organizations. So you got the Eurasian Economic Union. You have the Shanghai Cooperation Organization. You have CARICOM. You have the OPEC nations. You have PetroCaribe, which composes of Venezuela, Guyana, Suriname, and a plethora of other countries. You have the something in South America. There's so many organizations you can use to further advantage your country. It's just a matter of you have to have the will to do it, and you have to be willing to help your country on an individual scale. So let's get back to what's your solution. So now I've defined who we're talking about when I mean by your solution. And like I said, I've been seeing these videos on African Bambaataa, Brother Polite, all of this stuff I'm seeing over and over again on my timeline, on my YouTube subscriptions, and I'm at the point where I don't care. And I'll never forget. I want to play this clip from O'Shea Duke Jackson. I there are things that I disagree, but I think this point is just, it just hits the nail on the coffin. Hold on. I saw it yesterday, and I'm going to play snippets of it so that you can understand where I stand on it. Okay, so I'm about to share my screen. I'm about to show y'all this. Hold on. We go.
O'Shea Duke Jackson back at it again with a special episode of Kingana News. And stop the show. I'm glad to be back in Africa, finally working with the Kingana team.
见过几次？
见过几次？是这样子的，公主，就昨天妈妈跟你说，你可以跟他打招呼，可以跟他说话，其实这是不对的。为什么呢？因为这些黑人呢，他有很不好的习惯，他很不礼貌，有时候呢，在我们中国，有时候在国外做了很多去伤害中国人的事情。我们是什么人啊？
中国人。妈妈，我跟你说，我们是中国人，要保护好中国，要爱惜中国，知道了吗？
知道。所以呢，我们不能跟陌生人说话，不能吃陌生人的东西，不能跟陌生人聊天，不能跟陌生人走。黑人我们更要防范他们，好吗？
好的。
我们是
中国人，
我们爱
我们爱中国。
对，我们爱中国，爱五星红旗。
爱五星红旗。
So, guys, after seeing all of that, you want to know what I think? I don't give a yes. And please, Quasi,
I don't care. First of all, let me shout out Yamasua. Yamasua, thank you for showing up to the show. I really appreciate it. You are always welcome here. We love what you're doing. Sorry, excuse myself. But what Fly Guy said exactly, I could care less either. That's where I'm at the point. I could care less. You keep showing me these videos and you're not providing me any solutions. You're telling me all of these videos about non-black people doing stuff to black people. You keep on showing me these videos, but I'm not getting no solutions. Nothing is benefiting me. You just keep talking about it. I don't care. We've seen this countless times. Talking about the problem brings no result if there's no solution. So you're bringing me the problem about we don't have a lot of wealth. We're being discriminated on. We're facing police violence. We face environmental racism, lack of green spaces, food deserts. We're facing all of that. And yet you're not providing me any solutions on how to deal with it. So I'm about to let it say one more time. I just want to say this one more time. So people can understand what we get. My mic went mute for a second. I just need to let him say that statement one more time. So people understand my whole stance on it. And other members will probably agree.
here, don't bleep that out. Don't give a seeing all of that. You want to know what I think? I don't give a yes. And please, Quasi, don't bleep that out. I don't give a fuck. I want them to know that I don't give a shit. Because you.
That's exactly how I'm feeling. I don't care. You keep showing me all these videos over and over and over. And he brings this up. He's going to bring it up later in the video. I just showed you that snippet. But he brings it up later in the video of some of these YouTube channels that keep doing this. And it's like, okay. Fly Guy said African Diaspora News Channel is guilty of doing this. I used to like the channel, but this is what the Karen videos was getting. Like, it gets annoying. What are we doing now? I get it. I understand. I think it's important that you're bringing it to light. But what are you doing to help us? Because you bringing this up over and over and over and over and over again, it's not making me feel like, man, we just need to, get up and do. I'm feeling demoralized. I'm feeling demoralized because every day you're reminding me this. I get it. I get what you're saying, but you're not providing solutions. And most importantly, you're not focused on those solutions. Instead of focusing so much on the problem, focus on the solutions. Focus on how we can achieve success for ourselves and our own people. Focus on that. Focus on creating a safe haven for your people. That's what I care about. Like I said, there are so many Karen videos out there. We've seen them. They're all over Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, you name it. We've seen it. We know they exist. We know they're out there. What's next? Oftentimes from these Black talking heads, it's nothing. And like I said, talking about the problem only harms morale and self-esteem. If the way that morale and self-esteem would increase if we saw less of it, bringing out more and more and more of it and saying it's ratcheting up, it's not over. We're in the middle of a war, as what they so to speak, or what they call it to be. You're not causing us to become unified. You're demoralizing us, and you're making us feel persecuted. Even we're already persecuted, but now you're making it to the point to where I need to seek asylum somewhere. Like I need to get out of the situation because you're talking about this so much, and you're telling us solutions, but not really solutions, because you're not laying out a blueprint. You're not laying out a blueprint. You're not showing us the results. You're not giving us ways to measure it. We cannot see it. And as a result, we're demoralized. Like I said, we get it. We know that there are non-Black people who don't like us. There are Black people who don't even like other Black people. We know this. What are we going to do? What are we going to counteract that? It's like comparing. It's a similar analogy would be you're struggling financially, or you're struggling to, let's say you're struggling a class. That'd be easy. I'm in college, right? So it's like struggling in a class. And you come up to me and say, I'm struggling in this class. I got an F in this class. And I tell you, you can study with me and I'll help you along the way. And I'll help you understand it. You never show up to me. You never ask me questions. Then you come back to me and say, I'm failing the class. My response is going to be, you could have asked me. Don't keep coming to me with a problem when I've given you some solutions or some ways to mitigate the issue. Don't keep talking about the issue, bringing all that negative energy to me when you have not taken steps to address that issue or address the problems at hand. And we see that all throughout the conscious community and these Black talking heads, talking about the problem, and just, I don't care. I care about building Liberia. I care about building West Africa. I care about that. And let's apply that also to Africa. You have African leaders who keep addressing the problem and don't want to address the solutions. They want to come at you. They want to tell you about corruption. And they're not addressing corruption. What they're doing is hold on, y'all. I'm gonna have to come back in because I'm not seeing the rest of your chat. So I'm about to come back in for a moment. So give me a second. I cannot. All right, y'all. I'm back in. Yes. He says, I didn't address this question. I didn't address Baruti's comments, so I will get to your comments. He says, speaking of which, what do you think about Haitians trying to come into the country? Some black people are taking the piss out of the situation and want to hear your thoughts. And I want to hear your thoughts. Here's my point. Are you stabilizing the situation in Haiti? Because if you're not, I don't care what you think. You're not helping the situation in Haiti. Are you providing them support? Are you supporting a way for the government to stabilize? It's real easy to talk about it when you ain't actually been there or you ain't putting in the work and actually go help. It's easy to talk. That's what I got to say. It's easy. And you know the U.S. has had a history of ruining Haiti, a history of killing off their leaders, of installing brutal dictators like Papa Doc. The U.S. invaded Haiti from 1915 and occupied it until 1934. So the fact that you're going to be that ignorant and that careless about the plight of Haitians and saying, well, they need to go fix their country. Well, how about this? How about next time when the police shoot and kill an African American, we don't say, and the rest of the world doesn't say anything. White people don't say anything. Asian people, nobody says anything. You deal with it. That's your issue. You deal with it. You see how ignorant and cruel that statement is? Apply that same thing to Haitians. Period. Jabari, I honestly believe that black talking heads like UNC, Roro, Black Authority, and others know that engagement is the solution, but the victimization pattern is a quick hustle. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Hollop said, breaking news, shrimp is seafood, video at 11. Breaking news, ice is cold, video at 11 p.m. That's really what, like I said, it's a good thing you brought that question up, Fly Guy. Talking about the problem and don't want to come up with no solutions on how to address the issues in Haiti. Tell Haitians don't come to the country, but don't want to address the issues. Same thing, but let's talk about Liberia, the country that we focus on heavily. You keep talking about Liberia ain't doing this, Liberia ain't doing that. Well, what you doing? What you doing? It's not Liberia's job to tell me to do something. If that's the case, we're going to be waiting forever. What are you doing to address situations? What are you doing? Are you providing healthcare? Are you increasing literacy? Are you working with government and oppositional figures? Are you establishing grassroots organizations county by county in Liberia? Are you building up roads? Are you becoming teachers? Are you giving these students books? What are you doing? Are you reaching out to Liberian Americans here in the States? Given all the criticism in the world talking about what the problem is with our solution, but you ain't giving us no solutions, ain't giving us nothing. Just a bunch of mouth. keep telling us, well, why y'all running? Why y'all running? What are you doing? Tell me, what are you doing? Tell me what foundations you're creating. Tell me, give me the stats to show me you're doing something. Give me the stats. You ain't even got to tell me. Just give me the stats and show me what you doing. That's what I want to know. That's it. That's all I want to know. You ain't even got to tell me. You ain't got to ramble. You ain't even got to give me a paragraph. All you have to do is tell me. You ain't got to do that. Just show me. Just show me. Give me the receipts. Oh, you ain't got any because you have no argument. You have no solutions. You're just being a contrarian. You're just being a devil's advocate, which there's nothing wrong with being a devil's advocate. It's just the devil advocate also has a goal, and the goal is often to help the team. It's just help sharpen the skills necessary. But your devil's advocate is not even a real devil's advocate because it's not sincere. Oh, you said okay, Uncle. Okay, I did not know what you mean by. I thought UNC was so like UNC road. Okay, Uncle. Yeah, or what people call roly poly. Oh God, ridiculous. What's up, Emoja? Hold on, gotta make sure I give my piece to underrated mind. Peace, underrated mind. People are quote unquote running because black talking heads have no viable alternative options to living a better life. They have none. Thank you. Thank you for saying that. Like I said earlier in the video, show me the solution and lay out a blueprint for us. And show us step by step how it's done. Give us a way to measure it. Remember what I've kept saying about SMART goals? Show it us. That's it. But if not, don't come and bash us talking about the issues with our solution. Because our solution, we've given a step-by-step guide. We're dedicated to making the situation better, and we have a blueprint. We're connecting with people. We're not just a bunch of scattered individuals, egotistical, running up them donations. Can I have your grits money? We ain't doing none of that. I see black talking heads no different than black immigrants who talk trash about their countries and don't help and build them. Fly Guy said, I don't think they even like the idea of black people leaving the country because it forces them to face the reality that it ain't it, and destroys this notion America is the place to be. Jabari, the ADOS movement is hard-pressed to get reparations under their president's stance and position, so it uses black immigrants as a scapegoat to deflect from the failings of African Americans. Please address this. Yeah, I'm tired of black immigrants being used as scapegoats. Okay? Black immigrants oftentimes come here. They're not informed on U.S. history. They're not well versed. It's like an African American showing up to Ghana, and then I say something about Ghanaians and not aware of Ghanaians' history. Of course, that's going to happen. I'm not an expert in Ghanaian history. I'm not an expert on Akan culture. So when I come there, I might say some ignorant stuff, or I might have some biases because I'm new to this culture. I'm not familiar with it. Or there's some stereotypes that I may have heard that I might implicitly, reinforce. But that happens. It happens. But for you to blame Black immigrants like, oh, well, they're coming here and taking up, like, listen, they're not coming that way. They're not intentionally having a plan to say, let all the Black immigrants come in and let's just take over. They're not having that mindset. Acting as if there is this secret agenda to get rid of Black Americans. No. Let's be real. All Black-headed production said, ain't get shit but ass whooping. Oh my God. I mean, it is what it is. Like, we need to stop playing. Like I'm tired of this not providing solutions. I'm tired of it. But we've addressed that, and now I'm gonna lead back into the difference between them and us. We have solutions. We provide solutions. We criticize and we give accolades when they're deserved. So now I'm about to focus on the Liberian government and Liberia in general. So, of course, in 2 years, really a year and a half, there's going to be an election, 2023, for the Liberian election. That's what's going to be going on. He said if Black immigrants were the issue, then why is Biden having Haitians airlifted from Texas border and not the Mexican immigrants? It's just a smokescreen. It's just a smokescreen. They don't do research. They don't, like I said, they don't have a blueprint. They don't do none of that. They just give talking points. They just give talking points. And talking points with no evidence, no warrant, no claim, no none of that. It's just straight talking. Or I should say rambling. So I'm gonna shift. I'm gonna shift a little bit. Yeah. Hold on. That's just the reality of the situation. And it is what it is. I'm gonna shift. I'm gonna go shift onto another a separate topic. We've addressed that. If anybody else want to come and say anything else, they can. For other Beyond members, the link is there. I'm gonna address the Liberia and, like I said, the 2023 election, because I feel like it's important. Because see, unlike us, we value politics. Not only do we value politics, but we value making political moves. And this also fits into the solutions. even if Black Americans go back to Africa, you need to have an agenda. You need to have a political, economic, and social agenda. No matter where you go, you need to have an agenda. You don't need to just be heading back to Africa and just individualistic, clueless about what's going on the ground, clueless about the political parties, clueless about corruption and politics. You need to be adverse. If there's an African American community there, there needs to be an African American association in every country, so that African Americans can get together and say, this is what we want done in Rwanda, this is what we want done in Congo, this is what we want done in Nigeria, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So, like I mentioned earlier, in 2 years, you're going to have the 2023 Liberian presidential election. As of right now, you have what looks to be George Weah and Joseph Boakai. George Weah is the leading CDC. You have Joseph Boakai, of course, being of the CPP, which is the collaborating political parties, which comprises of about 4 political parties. So, of course, 2023 is going to be big because after 2023, the next president will not be elected till 2029. Yeah, it won't be till 2029 when the next president is elected. And of course, some of the issue like I said, that's my biggest pet peeve with Black Americans go to Africa when we travel. It's never as a group most of the time. Yeah, it's mostly individuals. It's mostly individualism. And that's a problem because that's how you flex muscle. You flex muscle and you get African governments to do what you want when you come as a group, when you're a solid block, when it's just not individuals. Like if you have 5,000 to 6,000 Ghanaians and they all were to meet up and say, African Americans say, you know what, we want this, right? And whoever does this is not only going to win, we're going to get our votes in the election, the presidential elections, but any local elections, any senatorial races, any representative races, they're going to get those votes. Things would change. And that's why I shifted after addressing, the Black talking heads, because after addressing them, we've already made it. Now let's get to the solutions, because that's what we are. So, of course, there are major issues in Liberia. Of course, we talked about them numerously, but as of recently, we're going to be talking about some of the major ones. One of them is the collaborating political parties, the detentions that is occurring within the collaborating political parties. You have, I think it's George Weah's CDC. They did build a hospital for armed force services, but it was severely unqualified. It wasn't great. There has been some criticisms about that. I did hear about that through Focus on Liberia. They did a video addressing that. So these are some of the current issues. He said also some travel there and can't sustain themselves because they don't have a plan ahead. I would also go further saying not only don't they have a plan, they don't have a group. If you had a group of African Americans in Ghana, or a group of African Americans as a community and thought as a group, you could go there without planning and just say, hey, look, I'm this qualified and I need a job. And they could provide you a job because there's already a community there. Since there's no community, it's kind of hard to do anything. Because unless you know local Ghanaians, it's going to be very, very, very tough. It's going to be very tough. What else do I need to add? Oh yeah. So those are some of the things going on, and I just want to say that some of that is due to incompetence, and some of that is due to not abiding by certain solutions. So with the collaborating political parties, you have a situation where there's this faction coming, and this. Wait, what? Hold on. Yes, I did. Do not emoji. Do not scare me like that. It's in the chat, bruh. It's in the chat. You are free to come on, emoji. It's in the chat. I'm scaring me. It's in the chat. Man, I lost my train of thought. Yeah, so the solution with that is give it the ego. You're supposed to be the collaborating political parties. You're supposed to be the opposition. You're supposed to be providing people a vision and showing people unity. And right now, what I see is a bunch of dysfunction coming out of the collaborating political parties. And that's a problem when you had Benoni Ure and Alexander versus Alexander Cummings. You had that issue going on. And then the Constitution was being, tainted or being, rewritten, and then now they have to do an investigation. Some people say it's to do damage control. That's what's going on with the collaborating political parties. Meanwhile, we have the George Way administration, and we all know some of the issues with that, the corruption, the infrastructure, and all that. But the solution to that, and providing some solutions, is one, professionalism. Having professionalism is important. Two, developing a 5-year plan. And three, having public campaigns and public initiatives. I dropped it. I dropped it in the chat again. Emoji, you should be able to get on. In the meantime, I apologize that I have not done another BIO news video or another Liberian presidential series video. I was supposed to have done that this week, but I've had so much stuff going on. It's been really difficult. So I will try to get with that next week. Oh, it's not next week. This upcoming week. I'll try to. I'll also try to post some later on today. Okay, so it's approaching 44 minutes and 44 minutes. Any questions, anything else y'all would like for me to address from either the Black Talking Heads, Liberia, the brief about the 2020 election, the collaborating political parties, the CDC, any particular questions? Anybody want to come on? Okay. So it basically for the last few, what I'm just gonna simply say is that What's good, Shima? It's been pretty good. Like I said, I've been busy, so I haven't been able to do the Liberian Presidential Series videos or the BL news catching up with Liberia and Liberian news. So I'll try to do that later on today and try to do some videos throughout the week. What amount of people do you think should go as a pack? I would say on any given flight, it can be 15 to 20 people. It needs to be at least 15 to 20 people. Now, it'd be good if we had hundreds, but realistically about 10 to 20, 15 to 20 would be the optimal, I would say, go as a pack, because it's 15 to 20 of y'all. And most of y'all got skills, you got some cash. He said there are small trips that go, but not for a country to build. If we're talking about rebuilding Liberia, we got to come in the thousands. It's gonna have to be packs of thousands. Like it got to be 2,000-3,000 coming at a time. It can't be no 1-2. Now you can have occasionally, every now and then 15 to 20 people, but an avalanche of Black Americans is gonna have to keep coming in. It's gonna have to be every day. We're receiving thousands and thousands and thousands of Black Americans for the country to be built, because there's no way you can build a country with 20 people. You can't even build a country with 1,000 people. I mean, the smallest country in the world, Nauru, has about 12,000 people, and that's 8 miles. 12,000 people for 8 miles. Nauru is literally that small, and it requires 12,000 people. So for Liberia, I would say the first has to be at least 30 to 40,000. And then we move up to the mass immigration, which is 500,000 million. And then we start getting to 2-3 million. But the first initial got to be a good solid 30, 40,000. And of course, that can be facilitated through establishing, central business districts in each county, allotment of land by communal ownership to Black Americans, subsidies, access to mineral rights. You scared me for a second. Because I was like, I put the link in the chat. I know people in the chat see it.
Oh, you put it in the chat, in the YouTube chat?
Oh no, I put it in the group.
I didn't see it.
Oh,
I didn't see it.
Okay.
I just wanted to make like a single point and kind of like shout you out at the same time, because when we talk about the solution, people, anybody who could think would know that the solution is to do something as a people instead of going out, everybody trying to do their own thing. And that's what happens far too often, is that we go off and we'll hear something really good and we'll think, you know what, this is a good idea, but we need to do it my way. We need to do it this way. They ain't doing it right. So they want to go out and do their own thing. And then it fails because nothing really works when you're doing it by yourself. When you're trying to do something for people by yourself, that doesn't work. You need the people. And that's just obvious. We need to do something as a collective, any damn thing. And we don't do anything as a collective. The only thing we do as a collective is dumb shit like milk crate carton challenges and gang banging and stuff like that. See, that's the issue that I have when we say that we don't ever do nothing as people. Yes, we do. Yes, we do. We do a whole lot of stuff as a collective, but usually it's destructive. We do destructive shit as a collective all the time. And where the bigging up part comes in at is that we actually have something, mainly the BIO, that is doing when it comes to you, you do so much research. You are so knowledgeable of where we're trying to go that there is no excuse for people to be running around like chickens with their heads cut off, wondering and still having all these questions. Well, what about this part of Africa? What about this part? And it's like, bro, I don't think people understand the work that you put in to be so knowledgeable about not just Liberia, but the entire continent. But when it comes to Liberia, the place where we're where we're zeroing in on, you have knowledge. I'm talking about from everything from the people, the culture, the languages, to the actual political process. Like that is it's really crazy and it's really impressive. And so on one hand, I want to really shout you out for all the work that you do because I understand the hard work that takes to be knowledgeable of all that stuff. But to just let the people know that we actually we are doing all the work that we can here. Like we even trying to talk to political figures and positive organizations in Liberia right now. Like we actually doing that right now. We're not just on here talking about our problems and just talking about what possibly could be the solution. We're working on the solution right now. But the thing is that 3 or 4 of us aren't going to be able to do it. It's not going to be 4 or 5 people that's going to change the destiny of all Black people, man. We don't live in that. We don't live in that world anymore. We need people. We need people. Straight up, we need people to all be working on the same goal. We don't need everybody to be doing the same thing. We don't need everybody doing YouTube videos. We don't need everybody trying to know. We need people doing different things headed towards the same goal. Just like any other business, just like any other company, just like any other movement, we need people who working on the same goal, working together. And that's kind of all I wanted to say because we keep going back and forth about everything and talking about everything. It's like, man, we just need to do the work. We know what we need to do. Everybody who listening to this know what we need to do. When we gonna do the shit? That's it. That's it.
Mm-hmm. That's what this whole live stream was about. Keep talking about all of the problems, but ain't providing no solutions. Demoralizing the whole Black community because we don't see an end to it. You give us a barrage of it every day. So this is everyday thing. So it shows me it's not improving. So why do you want me to fight? Why would I fight back knowing that this is every day, knowing that things haven't changed? You tried protesting, you tried the George Floyd situation. That really didn't work out. And then, I mean, you still got people mocking this man's death. I mean, why would you try to fight anymore? This is what we're seeing. Why? And then when we give you solutions, because we see that's the difference between Black talking heads and us. We provide solutions. Not only do we provide solutions, we provide solutions in detail. That's why I went off from talking about just the Black talking heads to talking about what was going on in Liberia with the CDC, with the CPP, because you have to address those issues. You have to understand that there's an election coming up, and how do you use this upcoming election as an advantage? How do you use that? Oh, whoops, sorry, that was my calculator. How do you use that to your advantage? What are the tensions going on, and how do you address these tensions going on within the collaborating political parties? How? Addressing, who may have started it, who may have caused it, and then providing that solution, getting rid of the ego, make sure there is a unified, you have a constitution, make sure you follow it and institute professionalism. I'm giving you step by step the solutions. I'm not here just talking about it. Okay. And most importantly, I got my critiques of both the CDC and the CPP. Both of them I got criticisms on. But those criticisms are coming from a place of love and passion. They're not coming from bad faith acting.
And I think you just brought up something that could be talked about too. When we start talking about what we need to do and the challenges that are ahead, it's a lot of people who hear the challenges and it turns them off. I'm here to say, get over that. Get over that immediately. We're not going to go, no, I don't give a damn if you decide that you're going to get up and take your family to New Zealand. As a Black American, man or woman, you're going to come into problems and issues. And what you're going to do is you're going to work out them problems and issues. You're going to struggle for them to clear them issues up. Why would you think that we're going to go to the continent and it's just going to be like the Lion King and you holding up Simba and the sun break out? No, it's going to be problems. There's going to be issues that you have to work out. And what it is that I think that we're so divorced from the idea of having power that when we think about having to work for power and work to make something, it seems so hard and impossible. And another reason why is because we're used to a whole nother culture and a whole nother race doing it for us. We don't like to talk about it. We like to complain about how bad America is and everything, but we never think about like who's actually processing our food. We never think about who's doing all the farming. We never think about who's organizing all the stores, who's organizing gas stations and shit like that. We don't think about that because it's done for us. So when we talk about doing everything from the ground up for ourselves, it seems impossible to some of us. And when it comes down to it, a lot of us don't believe that we can do it. That's just the truth. And I could tell you that that's the truth because I see how we behave. I don't care what we say. We can say all we want about how strong we is, how we the first man on earth, and how everybody steals our yeah. When we gonna show it though? When it comes down to show it, it's very few of us willing to do that work. And that's just the truth. That's just the truth. We don't like to talk about that stuff though. We just want to talk about all the good stuff about Black people and how bad everybody else treated. Okay, but what are we doing? What are we doing about it? As a people though, what are we doing together about it? That's what it comes down to. Every time it just comes right back to us. Right back down to us.
Also, I would just like to say, if you're an African immigrant or you're a Liberian listening to this, and you're just like, well, why is this live stream important? It's important because these are the same people that talk about a connection with Africa, but they ain't helping your home countries. They ain't helping your home countries bring in bread. They ain't helping your home country bring in doctors, bringing in hospitals. They ain't bringing in nothing. They're just talking. They're telling you this, that they're exploiting Africa this, exploiting Africa that, but they ain't working with you. They ain't teaming up with you and saying, let's get something done. Let's do negotiations. Let's meet together and see what we can do. They're not doing that with you. All they're doing is just talking about it. But when it comes time to actually reach out to Haitians, Dominicans, Zimbabweans, South Africans, and in our case, especially Liberians, they have nothing to say. I'm here to say you have to bring results. That's what this whole live stream was about. You have to bring results. One of the things, if you're gonna make a point in a debate, you address the issues. You address what the issue is, and then you address the resolution, which is address the solution. You can't win a debate and there's no resolution. There's no solutions planned out, addressing the neg or the opposition. You have to do all of that. And right now you have Black people saying, well, they're making these points and they ain't giving us no resolution. They're leaving us straight up dry, cliffhangers, and then get upset that we're in the predicament we are, or people are just tired of the conscious community. They're tired of you because you ain't giving them solutions and you show us that you don't care. Do you think, guys, Black Americans not admitting our shortcomings is problematic and childish? I think that's a broader American culture, but I would say yes, it is childish because one of the things of being an adult is knowing your limitations and understanding that we haven't done it. It just hasn't happened. It's being realistic. One of the things I've learned about as I've gotten older is being realistic. Okay. And addressing my flaws and looking back and saying, man, there were so many things I could have done better. But that's part of what's called growing up and, most importantly, analyzing.
No, it's absolutely childish. It's absolutely childish because rather than take the criticism for what it is, we get defensive. Like you just can't have it both ways when it comes down to the future of the race of your people. You can't talk about what everybody else do to you and how bad everything is when you do have the opportunity to get educated, when you do have the opportunity to get a job, when you do have the opportunity to buy a passport and get the fuck like legit in 2021, nobody has actually got you in chains keeping you here. No matter what we talk about, man. You could talk about anything from college debt. You could talk about anything from having criminal record. You could talk about all that stuff, all that stuff. You are listening to somebody's voice who have been through all of that. And I got me a ticket to go visit Tanzania in December. Hello, already got me my passport ready to go to Ghana if I wanted to, but I switched that. And once again, you are hearing the voice of a nappy-headed California kid who is a grown-ass man now, but I didn't put myself through some drama and some trauma dealing with American politics and how the system is designed for us to fail. But if you got your mind right and you really focus, you can do anything you want to, straight up. And no one is keeping us here, man. It's on us. It is on us. It comes down to us, no matter what we talking about. We hate to hear it, but well, what about black on black crime and stuff like that? I don't put it like that. But I do think that stuff like gang member stuff is ridiculous. I do think that getting high in drug culture is ridiculous. But these are the things that we do as a collective, though. It's the destructive stuff. And then as individuals, some of us will go to school and go to college and get an education and run to white people for jobs. Some of us will start a t-shirt company and start a clothing line and everything else. But then I'm gonna give y'all a real example. Pardon if it's noise, I'm just leaving the grocery store. I'm gonna give y'all a real life example. In the city that I'm in, it's literally about, and I'm not exaggerating, like, man, 3 to 5 black clothing lines. Some of them selling like work gear, some of them selling just regular gear, just like cool little hip hop gear. And I think to myself, like, wouldn't it be dope? And I support most of them because some of them is actually really good gear. And I'm like, well, why won't y'all like come together and like get a little piece of a store and have a store where all y'all stuff is at? So black people in the town could just come to that store and support y'all even more. But it's like we don't think as a collective. Even when we are doing the same thing, we will not bring it together to make it better. Because I know we ain't the only group who talk about going back home. I do think we're the only group that talk about going back home to develop something for us and the diaspora. I'm pretty positive of that because everybody else just want to go and just be away from America and still don't really do anything where they're at except just live. But it's like we just do a whole bunch of stuff, and the stuff it seems that we do as a unit is the destructive stuff. And when it comes down to like actually building up ourselves and the future, our future selves, our future generations, we just come up with all the excuses and problems why it won't work or why we can't work together. It's maddening, bro. It's maddening.
Yeah, my final point is that's the same thing. What I would say is it's like us going to addressing the issues in Liberia, where you're addressing all the problems. We understand the issues that are in Liberia. The question is, what are we going to do about it? How are you going to address the issues? Because if you're not going to address the issues, then it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter at all. That's the we know the issues. Now it's just a matter of, do you have what it takes to address it? And once you address it, you'll be fine.
But yeah, my final thought is back to you, brother Jabari. I really want to shout you out. Like again, that was the reason why I really came on, was to shout you out, because I just had the thought while you was talking, like, man, but this, because you already wowed us. Like, I'm talking about, it's been a while now, but you already wowed us with about how much information you know about Liberia. But I just want to shout you out because you do a lot of work, man. And I know you young and you don't got all the responsibilities of children and, you know, marriage and all that other stuff, but you got your life. You go to school and you studying something difficult to really grasp, and you got a social life, but you spend time, man, and effort making sure that we know all about Liberia. Hell, man, because of you, I was even on the Liberian live stream a couple months ago, and I got that link through you. So I just want to shout you out, and I hope people really understand that they listening to a brother who know what they talking about, not just somebody on here trying to be a conscious crook. We not asked. I don't remember ever asking anybody on here for some damn money or to sign up for something that's gonna cost them a monthly membership due or anything like that. Like straight up, man. And you just real solid. And I appreciate the work you do. Just in case you ain't heard it in a while, your work is appreciated, bro. Straight up.
Thank you. Appreciate the love as always, and of course the entire BL family. To answer Fly Guy's last question, do you guys think black people speaking out against black people going to Africa is a misery loves merchant company situation? I think a part of it is because the fact of the matter is that you're telling our people not to leave, despite the fact that we're facing persecution or we're facing trauma, and just to say we should stay here and fight when a lot of black people have given their lives, a lot of black people have been arrested, been to jail, you know, have dealt with racism. To tell them they need to keep fighting despite the fact that they personally dealt with this trauma and they want to simply get away from it. Just to say they should not go is honestly, it's disgusting, it's disingenuous, and quite frankly, it's sadistic. So that's my whole take on that.
Yeah, I think it's fear. I think it's fear. Like you could hear somebody say something like, "Hey, y'all, I'm traveling to Korea or Japan, or I'm traveling to Colombia," and people be like, "Have fun, ooh, go do this. Make sure you do this. Oh, you about to meet some blah blah blah." You hear somebody say, "Oh yeah, man, I'm about to go to South Africa. I'm about to go to Mozambique." You'll hear people saying, "Be safe, be safe, man. You know, it might be some lions and tigers out there, like straight up." And that's just what our conscience go to when we think of Africa. Many of us, especially those of us who aren't studied on Africa or who really don't care about the continent like that. And that's just an example. It's just ignorance and fear, because we've been taught to. Okay, let me put it like this: we've been taught, if you're an American, you've been taught that black is bad. Period. Whether I don't care what race you are. So if you already have that thought about yourself, whether we admit it or not, if you already have that thought about yourself as an American black person, now think about Africa. You've been taught that Africa is 100 times worse than a black America. Whether you know it or not, the messages that you've gotten just from mainstream media and education is that Africa is bad. Some people's only view of Africa is kids with big bellies with flies on them. Say I'm lying. Somebody tell me I'm lying. And that's why you get that reaction.
Yeah, so make sure you guys like, share, and subscribe. Make sure, of course, you comment down below. Tell us what you think. Let's have a conversation. Let's engage with one another. We do have the lounge tonight. If you're a BIL member and you signed up and you've done that, we have the lounge. It's going to be great company. I know we're going to have some interesting topics later on tonight. So if you can, please join us. And that's really much all I have to say. Remember, don't tell me all the problems you have and you ain't trying to solve them. Because you bringing your problems is bringing negative energy over to me, and that negative energy could translate into my life, which I'm not going to have. So make sure you address your problems. Make sure you try to at least solve them. If you need help and you need assistance, then gladly do so. But don't keep addressing the problem because you think that is going to help people wake up. And with that, I'll leave you all, my BL family.
Let me say one last thing, Jay. I want to say to people who out there who do got Africa on their hearts and who do want to change, even if it's in your own city or your own coast or region, whatever, find encouragement by looking towards your future and where you want to be. Because if you just keep on listening to people who just talking, even if they talking like dropping knowledge, quote unquote, and hidden secrets and stuff like that, it will burn you out. You will end up discouraged, and you will end up 30 years from now still in America running around looking at where's the change at. Straight up. Don't get burned out, man. Find you where you want to go and get there, man. Don't just stay stuck in the same place doing the same thing, because that's what will happen. That's what we've been doing for decades upon decades in America, is talking the same stuff, asking for the same treatment, and still getting mistreated. So find that thing to cling on. I don't care if it's just one thing. Find it and cling to it, man, and stick with it. For real, for real. I would obviously suggest to be AIO, but yeah, just don't get burnt out, man. Just don't get burnt out, because it's a lot of revolutionary souls who got burnt out, and they just working a 9 to 5 now, waiting to die in America. Sad truth. I still love y'all though. Sorry to be the bearer of bad news. Y'all have a good one though.
All right, peace.